us with that. We have the capacity.
I'm going to text.
Okay, you can trust me. Don't trust Cindy.
Okay, so all right, I'm recording now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, really.
We already did this once today.
All right, so we're kind of really just getting. Oops. All right, here we go. So, all right, we'll let the music play a little bit.
Let's get started.
All right, so we are here. We are back, and like I said before, I keep saying we're back. We haven't gone anywhere. We're still here.
We're still here.
We did our marijuana part 2, so I'm very happy with that. We got real good response for marijuana part 1, and then we got busy doing other things for the podcast, and now we're on marijuana part 2. My name is Mr. Leo, and we have
Miss Cindy.
And Miss Maria.
And before we start, go ahead, Maria. Where are we on our social media?
Social media. So now you can find us on Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook. Search us up as The Podcast of Dallas. Oh, sorry. No.
No.
Me equivoqué.
Go drink some more coffee.
Sorry, my mistake. The Real Podcast of Dallas. And you will find us on Facebook, and all our podcast segments are on there. So please listen to us. Please like us. Please share us.
And we're also on Spreaker. We're also on Spotify. On Spotify, you have to put The Real in quotations, and then you have to put Leo, Gutierrez, Gutierrez on there, and it'll come up. And then we have it on
iHeartRadio.
Miss Cindy's very happy about that.
I love iHeartRadio.
Yeah. Now, real quick, I'm gonna just, because this is The Real, I made a mistake, and we recorded about 15 minutes, and I didn't hit record. So it kind of threw us off. But
Way to go, Mr. Leo.
And we had all this energy going, and I said, we're not recording. So now we're recording, we're on, and I apologize.
But we're friends, and so we're going to laugh with you, not at you. Maybe a little at you.
Until I leave.
Maybe a little at you.
Until I walk out.
But we're going to laugh with you, because we're friends.
Yes, and that's going to be our topic today. And before we start, I wanted to just kind of point out a couple of things. One of them is that the last podcast we did, I misspoke, and I said hello to the lovely people at Grindr, and I said Sergeant Master Pritchett, and it's Master Sergeant. So I want to apologize for that. And I know they're very forgiving people, but it's
You don't think he doesn't like you anymore?
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame all of them. What a nut. He's known us for this long. And
he still thinks I'm a sergeant master.
Yes.
No, he's a master sergeant.
Master sergeant. So I apologize. And anyhow, so we had a good vibe going.
Yeah.
I killed it. No, it's back. So we're back on it. Another thing is, I was told that I say we're back a lot. And which I do. I get kind of stuck with these words. I'm trying not to do that so much. On one of them, I kept saying fun. So I'm trying not to do that so much. Trying to talk a little slower. You guys are great. Cindy, your voice. Maria, you guys are great. It's this guy here. So.
Who gave you that feedback? Your wife?
People. I was going to say people. But a lot of it's myself. I listen to it myself, and I'm very...
all the personalities in your head. I get it.
Yeah.
The critic. The
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
The cheerleader.
Right. Yeah, so... Anyhow. So, everybody's doing good? Yeah. And we did recorded our part 2 on marijuana. We got good results with the first one. We did the second one, so I hope that you guys listen to it and give us feedback.
Yeah.
So
we're friends who agree it's not a good idea.
Yeah. So
friends don't always agree.
Well, we brought this topic up topic up of friends and relationships, and I'll let Miss Maria kind of lead us into that way and how this came up.
Okay, so how this came up. So I've been sharing our podcast with, the kids that I work with, and I have a group that is specifically made up of girls. They're in high school. And so I asked them to help us out, by giving us tips, giving us ideas, feedback, and then also, to help us with, topics to cover in these segments. And the first one that they mentioned was relationships.
Okay.
Which is important.
Yeah. And one of the things that we've talked about before, and just a few minutes ago that we didn't record.
Mr. Leo.
We're all into it. So one of the things we're talking about is how we're fake friends. And one of the first thing that comes up when you talk to kids about friends is they'll tell you, well, there's no friends. There's only fake friends. So in addressing that with some kids, a group of kids, basically what I said was sometimes we tend to overshare. Sometimes we give too much to people about ourselves. One is they may not want to know all of that. Another is they may not see things the way we do, so they may use it against you. So it really goes back to being our fault. And that's part of our self-esteem, wanting people to like us and us wanting to hold on to people.
Right.
So
absolutely.
So what do you think, Miss Cindy?
I think relationships are crucial, and I think that you can always be learning about relationships. And I have a sticky note, and I keep writing words down because I want to tell you kids and you adults about relationships and what a healthy relationship is. And I want to talk about how relationships speak to your reputation. I want to talk about how honesty and trust are so critical, how it's important to be appropriate. And it's important to reflect on yourself and who you are and what you're bringing to the relationship and whether it's good for you to be in that relationship. Does that relationship feed you? What are you getting from that? And everything. See, here I go.
That's okay.
Everything in relationships and interacting with people is about how you make people feel. How do you make people feel? And so if you're in relationships with people that don't make you feel good about yourself, you might think about closing the door on that.
Meaning that you're catching yourself trying to please them and people please. Yeah. I always go back, and even in treatment, when I work with clients, I always talk about building your self-esteem. That way you can put these boundaries up. Boundaries are very good. And if you have a good self-esteem, I always tell people the way you test your self-esteem is, can you say no and feel good about it? Can you put a boundary up and feel good about it? And I don't mean feel good as in, forget you and this. No, it's more of a set the boundary and still not worry about what if are they going to not like me or like me or what's happening. No, you just feel good about
being
it.
Safe. You should be in a safe place to share your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts.
So how would we communicate that to, like, the girls that you work with, Miss Maria? Because what we're talking about, sometimes I hear this, and what we're talking about, we understand it. So how can we get kids to understand it?
Well, you earlier when we were not recording, you did mention about capacity, trusting people at their capacity.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's also something really important because, if you're going to get involved in a relationship, you need to be able to trust that person at that capacity. What does being in a relationship mean? Mr. Leo already said, making you, or Miss Cindy said, making you feel good. Is that how you're feeling? Are you feeling good about being with this person? Because if there's a lot of fighting, if there's a lot of arguments, put downs, yes, or you're in a relationship where the other person does not allow you to be who you are, then that's probably not the best relationship for you.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well said. And what we were talking about, the capacity is, we're doing a Zoom meeting, and we're talking about friendships. And, when you ask people who have been hurt if they trust, usually the consensus is no, I don't trust. People who have been hurt have a hard time trusting. So in your mind, you should say, I don't trust anybody. Well, what I've learned is you got to trust people at the capacity, at what you see. So my example was I trusted them, and they were on Zoom, to the capacity that I can see. So I can see that they're there to hear, to talk, to discuss. So I trust that they'll be there. And the same way they trust that I'd be there and that I would talk to them, and that's it. I don't trust them outside of there. So there's certain things that I would share with them in that group appropriately. I mean, it would be inappropriate for me to say, whoa, kids, my bills are getting to me, and, that's inappropriate.
Would you hold my wallet, please, while I just...
Right. Here...
leave the room for a little bit? No.
Right. Here we trust ourselves
Your
to
phone.
this capacity.
Yeah, your phone.
Yeah. So, we're friends to this capacity. Outside of here, it might be different. So sometimes it's okay if you have a friend that you just see at school, and you don't have to invite them over the house or own them, and they don't have to do the same thing with you. So
Trust is earned.
Right.
It's very much earned.
Right. And sometimes we do it right away. Sometimes you invite somebody to your house right away, and then they go tell everybody your secrets.
Yeah.
So that means that they didn't earn that. So it's something you have to kind of just learn and really work on yourself, because if you're trying to own people, if somebody comes over to your house and you don't want to let them go, or you're having a conversation and you don't want it to stop, you got to work on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so a lot of self-esteem.
So much of it, and it's believing that you have something to bring to the table and that you're worthy of a good and deserving relationship.
Can you say that again, Miss Cindy?
You're worthy
Yeah.
of a good and deserving relationship.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a relationship, romantic friendships.
Right.
Some of you guys deserve good friendships, but you have to be able to tell what is a good friendship, what is a good relationship.
Right.
So I guess that's why we're going
I
to
think,
discuss
yeah.
it.
Yes, I think you have to be careful when you're choosing your... You have to know to trust your friend, to choose your friends wisely. I think same thing goes with a relationship. If you're going to be in a romantic or intimate relationship with someone, it goes both ways. You have to be able to... you have to be able to feel yourself with both of them, with whether it's a friendship, whether it's a friend, or whether it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You've got to be able to know who you are. Be
and
yourself.
I'll say people are different about friendships too, because I know for Maria and I think for Maria, we have a couple of close friends.
Right.
And then we have other friends who, I'm not going to be confiding all my deep, dark secrets to them, or even my happy secrets.
Right.
But then there's other people who have everybody's their friends.
Right.
And so there's very few people that I invite into my inner circle.
But it doesn't mean that you're alone, you're abandoned.
Right.
It just means that you're choosing to have people who, different levels. And there's different levels of friendships.
I trust these people. I admire these people. I respect these people. I count Leo and Maria to be good friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, share with them.
There
And
is
there's
a lot that we share with each other.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And like Miss Cindy is saying, you can have friends, but not all your friends have to know everything about you. I mean, there are friends that you're going to be able to be friends with, for the weekend. If you might have something in common that you like doing, whether maybe it's playing a sport or maybe going to the gym and work out together. And maybe that's it. That's just the type of relationship you're involved with this person. And it doesn't mean that this person that you're going to the gym with or, playing sports with, it doesn't mean that they have to know everything about you.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that people that get into bad relationships do. They don't bring themselves into it. I don't like these love songs where two become one. and when you lose your